Welcome back to our second part in our three-part series to explore the Cedarburg Bog via drone. In the first series, we talked about Watts Lake, which is open to the public at the north end along Highway 33, but it isn't the only lake in the bog that is open to the public. On the southern end of the bog, Mud Lake, the largest surface area lake in Ozaukee County, is accessible via boardwalk that the members and volunteers of the Friends of the Cedarburg Bog built in 2016. Our drone flight continues as we explore Mud Lake from the air.
Now we're taking off from Mud Lake, from the boardwalk, from Cedar Sauk Road into Mud Lake, and flying right off the end of that pier. Here's the little bay that connects the boardwalk to Mud Lake. There's the west end of the little bay. We're going to fly out that way. And the corner of Mud Lake you see on the right side of the screen is right down in the area of the lake where the only surface water outlet is. And that outlet flows into Cedar Creek. And Mud Lake is probably the major northern spawning area for Cedar Creek. Northerns run up into the lake in the spring and spawn back in the edges and the cattails, and then those big northerns that run up into the lake immediately leave the lake before the water levels drop and they can't get out. They run up into the lake right as the ice goes out, and they spawn and then they leave. And the estimates are that hundreds of thousands of northern fingerlings are produced in Mud Lake each year and actually make their way back out of the lake and back down into Cedar Creek. But because there's no permanent, it's such a shallow lake that it would freeze out every winter. It doesn't hold enough oxygen, and because there's no permanent game fish population, it's a really good place for those northern fingerlings to grow and develop without a lot of predation. And there's a dozen species of fish, little, really interesting, beautiful little fish that grow in Mud Lake. Flying over the edge of the island in Mud Lake and coming down closer to the water. There are a wonderful diversity of fish species in Mud Lake. Again, the islands in Mud Lake are just essentially firmer peat that grow the plants, grow cattails and bulrushes. Those reddish trees that you see in this view there's the point of the lake that has the outlet stream. That's the only outlet for the bog. Those reddish trees that you saw in that view are stressed silver maple trees that I think are responding to very high water levels in the bog this year that have stayed up for the course of the growing season, and that can stress trees and kind of prune out the trees that are growing at the real limit of where trees can grow. And so many of those silver maple trees may die over this year, because just this natural variation in the water level is perhaps taking them out at the margins of where they could grow. That road straight ahead is, I think, Lofty Lane, which is going straight south from Cedar Sock Road. And we're flying here back toward the bay where the boardwalk from Cedar Sock Road comes into Mud Lake and toward Cedar Sock Road. The marshes around Mud Lake are really beautiful. If you're down on Mud Lake, you could be in a wilderness area in central to northern Canada for all you can tell. The Cedarburg Bog really is a 2,200 acre wilderness just north of Milwaukee. The little backwater bays of Mud Lake are neat and interesting. That one straight ahead of us here, that little channel behind that island, is where for years I could find, in the winter I could go out there and find the beaver lodge. We have beaver and river otter that grow in the Cedarburg Bog, and I used to always be able to find the beaver lodge in that area, but lately, in the last 5-6 years, I haven't been able to figure out where the beaver have their lodge. I haven't seen it. This area between the cattails and rushes at the edge of the lake and the trees that are off to the east is a big expansive area that's dominated by several different species of shrubs. This has a lot of winterberry in it. And you can see the few cedar trees that are trying to make their way out into that shrub zone. High water levels may eliminate them someday in a really high water year. And of course, a lot of poison sumac. Everywhere, a lot of poison sumac. Now we're flying up toward the northeast corner of Mud Lake. You see that light patch in front of us, which is off to the left, they're big clones of giant reedgrass, Phragmites. See Long Lake up on the horizon in the distance. So again, we're getting a view from lake to lake, and the islands that the boardwalk trail goes over are straight ahead of us. And then here's a view of the southern portion of the string bog. It's a little bit different than the northern part. There are fewer of those fine strings and more of the kind of big, solid, teardrop-shaped islands that grow tamarack and cedar trees, taller trees. We're getting a better view of them here. So where the boardwalk loop ends in the string bog, it's actually just into the western part of the string bog, right at about the center, north to south of the string bog. So many different plant communities in the Cedarburg Bog, and all of them responding to different water flows.
Mud Lake is a vital water source and stopover location for migrating birds and waterfowl. Many migrants also call Mud Lake home. Watch for our upcoming videos that go into more detail about the inhabitants of Mud Lake and the Cedarburg Bog.